Welcome to Palisades-Kepler State Park, an eastern Iowa destination located between our state's second largest city of Cedar Rapids and the town of Mount Vernon.
Visitors can follow dramatic bluffs down to the banks of the Cedar River, where spring rains can fill this valley.
In just a few minutes, we'll tell you more about this sprawling 840-acre park.
But first, we'll explore an Iowa bike race you've likely never heard of, a challenge of mind and body and Iowa's springtime elements.
It's a pedaling trial on our state's back roads with a die-hard crew, with each biker hoping to conquer 300 miles of gravel.
The forecast for Cedar Rapids and surrounding areas for rest of today: blustery, rain.
This is ridiculous. It's 3:30 in the morning. I'm about to hop on my bike, and I'm in Iowa.
We've got kind of a fine mist blowing around, and the wind's really strong out of the east.
I've never really done this before.
All right, where I'm at right now, it's kind of foggy.
We're not really traditional bike racers. We like to go out and do something that's different.
300 and some miles. That's not so much a race as a war of attrition.
Don't get hurt. Hopefully don't get hypothermia. Try to finish.
You get out there, and people start lining up at the start line. And you got your people who are really excited.
So at 4 o'clock, we're going to leave. We're going to have 2 cars block Highway 6 up here as we cross.
So that inspires you. And then, you start waking up and you realize, this is neat.
Be safe, ride right, and hopefully you all have a good time. Thanks for coming to Trans Iowa.
Trans Iowa, a homegrown bike race you've likely never heard of. It's our state's only cycling feat of strength and endurance. Bikers descend before dawn for a 24-hour or longer race across gravel and level B dirt roads.
We call them B maintenance roads. Some people call them minimum maintenance roads. Basically, they're roads that were etched out into the dirt years and years ago and never had gravel laid on them.
Everybody's just walking in the grass.
Iowa soil is very sticky and it clogs up everything that it touches.
That was harder than riding.
And so when the cyclist tries to cycle a B road, it's wet. It just, within a few feet, your bike weighs a third again as much as it did when you entered the B road because of all the mud stuck to it all of a sudden.
Well, I'm expecting to be soft in the beginning, and then I'm expecting to be running in the ditch where it gets muddy.
Well, I'm from North Carolina, and our mud is a little bit less grass in it.
In a way, this is the anti-RAGBRAI, not for the faint of heart or for those who need a pork chop every 20 minutes. The race begins and ends in Grinnell after bikers complete a 300 to 340 mile loop. I think there's 6 guys up ahead, but it's still, we got a long ways to go still. For nearly 10 years, Trans Iowa has captivated a hardcore group of cyclists.
Did everyone go the wrong way or something?
Computer's not working.
We're at mile 13.39. Crap, I only have 13.34.
Each venturing out on a self-supported and self-navigated event.
We got lost for about 4 miles.
Hey, so we are going the right way?
Right there.
I don't think those.
They were supposed to go south, and they went.
We took a B road we didn't have to take. Hiked about a mile, 2 miles on a B road.
The whole time I'm thinking, man, if we don't have to do this, oh, that's going to be a pain to hear, but it is what it is.
If you stop for any particular length of time other than just to grab some food, and if you have a mechanical problem, if you stop any longer than that, you're not going to finish in the time frame that they've kind of allotted for a quote-unquote official finish.
The unique road race inspired Wisconsin filmmaker Jeff Frings to follow along on Trans Iowa for his award-winning documentary, 300 Miles of Gravel.
It's just kind of a fly by the seat of your pants kind of a thing. My wife drove the car and I shot all the video and didn't know what I was going to get and how it was going to go. But in the end, the storyline that I like personally is Corey Godfrey, nicknamed Cornbread, and he I think it was about the 50-mile mark or just before the 50-mile mark, his drivetrain on his bike just blew up. The chain exploded.
50 miles in probably, so there's not much you can do. I tried to make it into single speed several times, but the chain was so torqued and bent, it would just jump gears. It jumped into a harder gear, and then there's so much tension on the chain that eventually the chain just exploded in like 10 different parts.
And he made his way to the first checkpoint, and obviously since he got a ride there, he was disqualified from officially finishing the race, but he got a ride back to Grinnell, Iowa, where the race started and finished, and fixed his bike, turned it into a single speed, and then literally rode from Grinnell out to where his friends were on the course, caught up with his friends, even though he wasn't officially in the race, and caught up with his friends, rode the rest of the race, and ended up finishing unofficially with his friends. He rode 300 and some miles, even though he didn't officially finish, just to do it, because that's kind of the spirit of Trans Iowa is, what can I do? Can I finish this? Can I push myself beyond what I thought I could do?
Frings says his documentary aims to not only introduce Iowans to the hardest bike race they've never heard of, but answer a question viewers are likely to ask early and often.
From people all the time when I tell them about the documentary, why would they do that? And I hear that from people, I heard that from people when I did the 24-hour races. Why? They say, you ride your bike for 24 hours straight? Why? Here's where you think your limits are, and here's where they might really be. And even if you go a little bit past where you think they are, you've learned something about what you can do, and you know, the limits aren't what you think they are. So it kind of teaches you to always push beyond what you think you can do.
A lot of people would look at you today and say, gee, I don't know why we do this. This is crazy, you know. At the bike shop I worked at, I still do, is Europa Cycle and Ski. I was first paired up as a mechanic with a fellow by the name of Jeff Kirchhoff, and he was talking about how some of the earlier Europa cyclists had taken road bikes and gone across Iowa in a day on road bikes. And he thought, well, what if we did that on mountain bikes? What would that look like? And I said, yeah, we could do it all on gravel roads and forget that pavement stuff. And he goes, let's do it. So I was like, what? And the next thing I know, we were doing Trans Iowa. So that's how it started, just like that.